Just
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Art Decode. Today we have my boy Tyron and and a special guest, Sunny.
Hi.
And today we're gonna be going over the whole colors story. We're not doing it all at once, but I'm gonna do a few pages at a time, guys. This is gonna be a new series. I'm trying a new format. Okay, so you guys can see my face, you see the people that I love and work with, and you can see the products that I work so hard on. And I'm gonna be able to give you guys a little bit more context for the story, because I know that when I was posting this, it was kind of like had to get it out there fast and sloppy, just to get it out there, man. You know what I mean? I had to connect with some people, and I really want to let the audience know that your guys' engagement helped me so much on my personal development, and getting up the bravery and the skills and the courage and the discipline to get everything together, like this YouTube channel, the Instagram, and even being able to meet with Tyron and all you guys. Like you were massively helpful, Tyron, for everything. Like this guy was like my daily like like get up and do some shit drill. So I really appreciate you. I just want to let everyone know that before I started. This comic book, or I guess this story, this is an Ascension story, and it's my personal journey, but it also is I would say a template of energies that I'm refining for a timeline that I'm producing for my for those people who are interested in this story resonates with them. This is a refined bridge to getting to higher areas, and it's not that these stories will happen to you in any format. It's that these stories are like a template for the energies to come down, and this is my divine way of anchoring ascension energies. So just by listening and engaging your imagination, we're gonna figure out, like, well, I'm gonna read off the story, and then I'm gonna tell you guys what I was going through, and then and if you guys have anything to say, we'll do that too, and then we'll move on. So
all right, let's get into it.
All right, so cool. So the first picture here is the colors picture. It says, "Welcome to Doop's Closet, the first multi-dimensional podcast." I'm Doop, the giant golden eye, which we know later is Magnus. I will be taking interviews from all types of guest stars and star seeds and multi-dimensional creator gods. And if you have a story about your awakening or your life and you want to be on the show, DM me. This is still an open invitation. I'm calling for anyone who has astral projection, any star seed, awakened one, shamans, occultists, aliens, far travelers, astral projectors. We'll be here. We want your story. We want to know how your life is and how you dealt with your awakening process. And if you're interested in any way, DM me. Here's a bunch of stickers. This picture is a picture of Magnus, like beaming out to all you other creators out there, because you guys are all out there creating all the time. And like when I was conceptualizing like this podcast period, or the Duke's Closet podcast, because this is before I even started doing that. I was so I wanted to connect with people so bad. Like I needed to connect with the Starseed community, and I felt like I remember the day that I drew this. Like I remember seeing like this giant golden sun, this eyeball guy that I didn't really even know. I didn't know him as Magnus yet, and I just saw his eye like opening up and like beaming like into like this like area where there was a bunch of other eyeball guys of multiple colors, which I wind up having. I have a bunch of them now, and connecting with them. And with that, we started playing a game, like because they were all busy like building their own thing, but like by themselves. And then when I connected with them, I saw all of our like lasers, I guess our like creation projects come together and start to, instead of like creating and kind of like fighting for resources, turn everything into like a game. And that was the beginning of the colors, where I started connecting with other people and getting their input on my creative world, because I needed it. And it was probably one of the best things I ever did in my life.
That's really fascinating. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of a lot of resonance when it comes to Magnus. It definitely seems like this like beam of light was like a call to like the Starseed Collective and every other awakened person out there that it's time to play and create and co-create. And that's definitely what I'm seeing from this image. It's really quite inspiring.
Thanks, bud. Yeah, when when I drew this, like it was around the time where like synchronicities, like I just started getting synchronicities. I was like, oh look, numbers. And like I was just starting to understand like the connection between myself and spirit and how that connection like relates to other people and how to like play. Because I definitely didn't know what I was doing when I first started. How did you feel when you first started to notice like synchronicity and stuff?
Oh, it was really exciting. At first, it was like something supernatural was happening, but then it it becomes really intuitive. Like you'll notice or feel like something's going to happen, and then it does happen, and then it's like you're okay with it. You just accept it. But it started pretty early on. The moment I made the decision to like get into spirituality and like metaphysics, then I started to like attract people, which is like what I'm seeing with Magnus here is just pulling in all these people. And
Yeah.
yeah, then just like circumstances changed and like things started to manifest. And yeah, then I just decided to keep going with it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How did it feel when you when you first started connecting with like the internet at large? Like how did that feel like when you first hit that record boop? Like how'd that feel for you? Just curious.
Oh, bro, it was amazing. Like I was nervous at first because I'd been wanting to like start a YouTube channel and just share metaphysical content for the longest time. Oh wait, we're getting a call, bro. Do you want to pause quickly?
Yeah, I don't know how.
Give me 2 seconds. We'll come back.
It's just okay.
All right, we had some technical difficulties there for a second, but I can't remember what we were even talking about. Oh wait, how did it feel to connect with the community at large? Did we talk about that?
Yeah, yes. And like my experiences on the internet.
Oh, synchronicity. Beginning of
Synchronicity.
synchronicity. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, that was the beginning of that. So we just move on to the next picture, I guess.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so this picture is when I was first starting to understand what Magnus or like who, like even conceptualize what this thing is to me.
Yeah.
And so I made this on a live stream. I was live streaming and I was drawing this and I drew the whole thing and like colored it and everything. I was very impressed with myself. I was on one. I can't do it again. So I wish. But yeah, so it says this picture is the birth of my I am being. I quickly realized that being infinite is boring alone. And it took a literal eternity before I got bored enough to decide to go to Earth. Now I'm here for you guys. There's so many different people in this complex world. I can't wait to hear your interdimensional testimonies of your awakening. If you're interested in being interviewed, please DM me. Yeah, I was really reaching out, and
Yeah.
Magnus really wanted to he wanted to know. He wanted to talk to people.
Yeah.
I remember when like it was I was trying to like write down what I was experiencing at the same time. Like I feel like I get like a double sight like when I'm drawing. Like I see what I'm drawing, but also I'm like living what I'm drawing at the same time. And it's a weird, I didn't really understand it back then, but I was trying to capture what I was seeing in my mind's eye. And he was telling me that like, yeah, dude, like he's this like infinite thing and he's like in every detail. Like he showed me like how like if you zoom down like far enough, like he's in every detail, and that like he was gonna help me unlock something in my DNA. And then he was telling me about like how he was in every second, And then he was like, but I'm also bored. And and so that was the beginning. Page one.
Nice. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Magnus's Chronos aspect in this picture. Just like he's above like space time and he's eternal, but like very like lonely. Like you can just see like he's in the void by himself, and he's just like, oh, I want to just connect with another living being.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
definitely, I feel like this post is like a message to everyone. And yeah, we're having an interview. What's up, Magnus?
Hey, what's up? He's right
What's
here
up, man?
chilling. He's since transformed so many times. We've had so many good memories. But yeah, man, like looking back, like I really feel like this guy was just speaking through me. Like I don't even remember writing this stuff. Like, like I was just trying to reach out. Yeah, it was reaching out.
Honestly, I can feel that as well. Like for instance, like when you look at that type of picture, it like you don't really understand the message it's sending, but you're like getting the message and you're like, okay, I get it, but I don't get it, you know?
Yeah.
You said like what was it? When you were saying that something about being alone, I can't really remember.
Magnus, he was alone in the void.
Yeah.
And honestly, before I met Tyron, I felt like I was almost asleep in a sense, and I've only really woken up recently. That's when I started like my spiritual journey in a sense, because I was practicing spirituality before, but it only really became a serious thing after Tyron and I connected.
Oh wow,
And
that's beautiful.
and I honestly think that your artwork is absolutely amazing. Like I've talked to this over DMs. It's gorgeous. Like absolutely beautiful. I don't even know any other words. It's just I don't know. Just like you just feel something. You really do.
Thanks. Yeah, this is literally my rainbow bridge. Like I'm bringing down these energies for anyone who's out there to be friends. And I survived the story, so you know how it ends. And yeah, I really appreciate that. I hope that this resonates. Because these guys, like we all have like an inner creator inside of us. Like when I show the next picture, boom, okay, yeah, this is where he like meets the other creators. Like, but I knew that his personality, because like we had connected. Yeah, he was not about chilling with anyone else. Like for a really long time, he was just like, nah, I don't mess with anybody else. And after being in that void area for I don't know, longer than I can imagine, I feel like the reason why we connected was like I was at a like a kind of like a void space in my life too. I had just gotten out of the military and I had just stopped going to college. I was going for psychology and I wanted to actually be an art therapist. And I realized that the college system was garbage. And my time with military intelligence like taught me more than I think any college could probably teach me. And it was all hands-on. So like after coming back, like I just didn't really feel like I fit in anywhere, and I feel like I had something to share with people. And like this whole event, when my friends passed, put me in the void. Like it was like it punched me out into space, because like I was starting to build my life, and then my life got disintegrated again after like, because after you get out of the military, like you don't have anything. It's like being in jail. Like because where I was out in the desert for 6 years, so I didn't have a life. I went before I had a life, and then I came back and I had no life to go back to. So I feel like I was in a void space too for a really long time.
Like I understand how you feel. Like obviously I wasn't in the military or anything,
Yeah.
but So my dad is American. He actually lives in Indiana. And my dad, he like hasn't been a part of my life for a really long time. And when I was younger, my mom fell back in contact with an old love interest. And he basically, like, in the space of 6 months, he filled the void inside of me and he became like a father figure. And then after he passed away, it was like my whole world came crashing down in a sense. Like, I came to, and like I basically had nothing left. Like, I had my mom and my sister, but you know, like it didn't really feel the same afterwards. And had very deep dreams that were so realistic, to the point where the one night I had a dream that my stepdad, he had cancer and he was paralyzed from the waist down. And he was married before, and his wife had a miscarriage, and her daughter was supposed to be named Hannah. So in my dream, I was like 9 turning 10, and he was in his wheelchair and my mom was holding him, and he was basically saying to me how he was just testing my faith and everything, because he was a very Christian man. Obviously, I'm not Christian anymore. But he was like, I was testing your faith. You did so good. You protected your mom, your sister. You were there for all of them. And I'm going to come back tomorrow morning. Now, in the brain of a 9, 10-year-old, you're like, oh, shit, dude, like, this is real. And I went to my teacher the next day, and I said to her, it's like, my dad's coming home. He's coming home tomorrow. And she basically just had to like look at me and say to me like, no, sweetheart, he's not going to come back. It was just a dream. And that for me was one of the hardest moments in my life. And obviously I had to start therapy and all of this stuff. And it was very difficult. And I think part of me sort of went to sleep because I was scared of getting hurt like that again.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then I met someone else who in turn wasn't the greatest to me. And we ended up breaking up with each other after I had met Tyron. And you know, like when such traumatic things have happened to you and sort of like your brain shuts it out and it's just like, okay, if you forget this, it's going to be better for you. So I think that's what happened like after we broke up, because I went through a lot of mental strain. And then obviously I met Tyron, and he helped me in a lot of ways. I can't really describe it. He touched my soul in a sense, you know, and he sort of woke me up to this world that is full of color and love and brightness and everything. And I think that my dad, because I don't call him my stepdad, my dad sent him to me in a way. And was like, here we go, you need this.
You know, so I definitely can see that. And that's actually a really big part of this whole story too, is that like during this time, like I just had met Nikki too, and she's currently my wife. Like I married her, and like during that void space, like it, like because my friends and like I lost everything, like that hole in the heart, like she filled it up. Like that was her kingdom, and we've been putting stuff in it ever since. It's been pretty amazing. And you know, sometimes our hearts need a shock. You know, it hurts when we lose things, and we do shut down. That's trauma. You know what I mean? We can only process so much of it at one time. And if you hit a big trauma point like that, when you lose somebody you really care about, when big things happen like that, sometimes it takes like revisiting and talking about it and getting it out and processing it with as many other people as you can, because we can only process like so much at a time. And if we don't process it, then we shut down. And so like the fact that Tyron's with you, he probably listens to you, man. Like that's the biggest thing. Like like actually freaking listens, you know, and tells you, like, and processes with you. And that will wake somebody up, because you're feeling somebody else's heart. Like it's like when your car battery runs out of juice and someone is giving you a kickstart by showering you with actual attention, like not superficial attention, like attention. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's
And
beautiful.
honestly, coming from a relationship where attention was, I don't know the right word. Attention was given when you gave something else, but Tyron, it's sort of just like attention's there. I think I talk more than he talks, which sometimes scares me, because I'm like, are you okay? Like every 5 minutes I'm asking him, because he's so quiet. I'm like, are you okay, babes? Like, what's but yeah, it's great to have someone that is there for you in ways that not many people can be. And you know, it's not just him that has helped me through so much, it's also my best friend. They've actually done a lot for me in my life, and it's a bit of a I went through many attempts, and you know, she's always been there, and then Tyron was also there when I went through those hard times, and they kind of helped me to shut that out and not necessarily forget about it, but not to take my life for granted, you know, because obviously, as you know, when you're in such a dark space and you're in such deep depression and sadness and loneliness, you kind of take your life for granted. You're kind of like, okay, well, if this happened to someone else, or if someone else could do this to me or treat me this way, then why do I matter? You know?
Yeah.
It's all about realizing your self-worth and also finding someone that realizes your worth as well, because I think that is worth more than anything. I think love is a big message and what you're trying to send out to everyone.
Yes.
And I definitely think that what you're doing is, again, absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, that, you know, for one, thank you for sharing, because that's a lot, you know, in a good way. Like, thank you for trusting me and for, you know, getting on the recording. Like, this is gonna be episode 1, so you know, you're sharing with a lot of people, and the universe is listening. And you know, I also was dealing with separating myself from certain family members over in where I was at that time, and I was really fighting with them defining my self-worth as well. And like I definitely understand that, because we seek, you know, when you're young, especially when you're not like, when you haven't found yourself yet, when you're still young or damaged at the time, you know what I mean? You don't really you really look outward, and we're kind of taught to, and through religions and through just the way our society is built. And that leads us to letting other people define our self-worth. And when that happens, like, there are certain people that, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, like, really bring you down. And you know, it's amazing when someone looks inward and sees how much gold they are, and how much, like, that matters. And it's really important. Like, it really starts to feel good, like, because I was in a really dark place too. And when I met Nikki, and she, like, when I looked at her and she looked at me, like, I feel like I saw the gold in her, and I was like, that's the gold also in me, because that's the way she saw me too. And like, someone finally saw me for like the worth, you know what I mean? Like, I was important. I mattered. And that mattered a lot to me. And like, the thing is, like, I feel like I was just been waiting, like I was in training over there in the void, like with nunchucks, like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And like finally Nikki was like, I'm here to be loved. And I was like, I've been waiting. And I have like a headband. Like and I remember in the beginning of our relationship, like anytime we'd get into like a fight or like any type of like argument or just like or miscommunication. That's what I would call them. Like, baby, we don't fight. We have miscommunications. And she was just like, oh, God, you're so smooth. And I'm like, really though? I just don't want you to be mad when I say some dumb shit. Like, and
I'll just look at Tyron and I'll be like, you're fucking stupid. Like the other day, we had like a, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to say fight, like you said, but we had like an altercation. And I came into the room and I looked at him and I'm like, what you said, dude, that wasn't cool. And then I left. Because after his mom, I was like, dude, that's not on. That's not cool. But yeah, I completely agree. Like, it's nice to have someone to look at you and see what you see in them. Like, before I even met Tyron, like, I saw him around our complex and I was just like, that one, I can see something's gonna happen with that one. And then here we are, like, what, 3 months later?
Yeah.
But it honestly is the best feeling in the world to finally have someone that sees you in the same way you can see them, and to have someone to not only fight for but to also be there for you. Like, you'll be boxing and then you'll turn around and they're like, wipe your head, and they're like, I love you, and then you'll go back to fighting, you know.
Mhm.
That's honestly the sweetest thing.
Yeah, man, like this whole story is actually a love story. Like, it hasn't gotten there yet. I haven't gotten to that part, but but yeah, like it changes everything. It changes everything, and it is very beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm gonna hit this last page and then I'm gonna wrap it up. So
Okay.
all right, so yeah, all right, so it says if I try, I can create and destroy at will. And then he decides to create, and I saw him like shooting his creation beams, and he was also looking at a bunch of other dudes shooting creation beams, and he realized that he can throw his consciousness into like other like bodies, and then he came down in what looked like a meteor to me, and then it hit me, and then I was inside, like then he was like in my head. And like that's I know it sounds like the way I kind of wrote it sounds a wild, but the big thing is that like I was hit by a spirit. Like this happens. Like that's that's the procedure. The thing is, like, at the time I didn't understand that I was living what I was drawing also. And I didn't realize like how real it was, if that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense, man. I'm looking at the story and it's just like extremely relatable. You've got this being, this cosmic level being who's like really powerful, like eternal, but he's alone and he's bored. And the moment that he comes out of that separation and finds people to genuinely connect with is the moment that he can genuinely start creating and be with his soul family. And that's you, dude. You're his soul family. He found
we found each other.
Yeah, like it's again like your stories are so similar and it's relatable to everyone. Everybody can connect to the idea of being pulled out of the void by someone who loves you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that's what we're sharing with people in this episode.
I really like how you put that. It made my hair stand up. Pulling each other out of the void. You know what I mean? By extending love to someone, it's like later. Oh man, I can't even. But yeah, it's like reaching a hand across time and space and pulling someone into a place where time is moving again. You know. And we got to do that with each other, because right now there's a lot of void out there. There's a lot of heartbreak.
Yeah, and you know what I love? It's the colors. Like, he was in the darkness of the void, And the moment he connected with people, that's when his world became colorful again. That's what your soul family does. They bring color into your life.
Yeah, that's why the whole book is called The Colors, is that like all the people in my life, they add the color to me. Like it's without them I wouldn't be able to see it a different way. Without them I wouldn't have tasted, different foods or gone on certain adventures. Like we need each other to piggyback each other across this crazy adventure. And yeah, like this was the beginning of the journey for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm seeing just a lot of co-creation, dude. And it's just amazing to see. Oh, and what you're describing is a genuine walk-in, like you had a walk-in experience, like a spirit chose you and said, okay, I'd like to experience what it's like to have a bit of physicality. And you're like, okay, I'd like to journey across the multiverse, and that's fair
Yeah,
trade.
dude. But actually, now that we're talking about it, it makes me feel really strange. like I feel like it's connecting on like a different level right now, because like
Yeah.
it was happening on the 2D. You know what I mean? I lived it, yes, but like talking about it and then even being able to see myself talk about it is doing like very strange things for me on the inside here. I,
Wow.
but
Yeah,
but dang, I'm really happy that I got this on camera.
I think like this really had to happen. Like Magnus was like a little like schoolboy, and he had show and tell, and like this is the moment. He's like, okay, guys, I've got a story I'm going to tell you. I hope you like it, and like here it is. Like you can feel how happy this being is just to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. It's all right. I'm gonna keep going with the story. I'm gonna keep recording for a bit. Actually, are you guys good? How you guys feeling?
We're good. We're good. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, like I'm having a good time, so I'm just gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is actually the first episode of Doop's Closet with Natasha.
Natasha.
Yeah, so
That's
this is
great.
not really, this is technically like outside of the timeline. But the thing is, she was one of the people that helped reach across the void and pull me. Like she was the first person to help me online. Like she helped me get, oh, for one, she was my first person to interview. She helped me like get all the things like look better because I had so many like spelling errors and just like sloppy work. Like I didn't know what I was doing, and she was so kind. And by the way, I have her book right here. Boom. Go ahead. This is Natasha's book, Light and Shadow, Ascension Poetry. This will level you up like a Super Saiyan. She's an amazing poet. Just saying. That's my girl, dude. She's awesome. I'm gonna have to definitely shout her out in this episode.
So awesome.
Yeah, we had an amazing interview. It was awesome, man.
Yeah, people need to check that out. Like, go check it out on Doop's Closet, just saying. And yeah, like links in the description, everything. Because Natasha's amazing, and she can definitely reach across space and time.
Yeah.
She does a lot of great work with children who have autism, and she does past life regression therapy, I believe,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
All right, well, I'm gonna tell you a quick mini story. Choo, choo, choo. All right, yo. So she was actually the first person to give me the QHHT treatment, and when we did, like, okay, guys, I haven't gotten to share this with anybody yet, so this is a first. All right, so we went into a few doors, and like this is where I started learning the door treatment. Like I have to admit, like, oh gosh. Anyway, so we were going into the doors and stuff, and like the first door like was a bunch of like my childhood memories. Like it was like I was in New York in my old childhood room, and I was playing with my child self. We were playing Street Fighter, and like we were hanging out, and he had the ability to like shrink. Like he was able to like shrink and grow like large at will. Like that was his ability, and he was blue. But like that, it was just me though as a kid. But it looked different though. And but it was my room and everything, and it was probably one of the weirdest things I ever knew. Like it was just super strange. Like, but we had a lot of fun, and we wrapped it up, and I went into another door, and it was like a bunch of my ex-girlfriends. And but it was okay because like I was actually pretty good to all my ex-girlfriends, so like they were actually pretty nice. They were like it was like they had things that they never got to say to me, and they had like they had like these like little hearts, and they were whispering like words that they wanted to say to me inside there, and I was hearing them, and like some of them were like, you know, Joe's a real asshole for not calling. And I was like, dang, all right, I'm sorry. And but some of them were like, you know, like, why didn't he say goodbye? Stuff like that. Like they were trying to process stuff. And it's because I was really bad. I was really bad at like leaving because I moved around a lot. And I had a lot of Sagittarian energy, I guess, in my teenage years. So I just disappeared. But the third door, that was the Magnus door. And it looked like a black void door. And we opened it up together. And dude, it was like it was I don't even know what the freaking words to explain this. It was like jumping into the internet. Like that's what it looked like to me. And I saw like all this like information and like stuff like flying everywhere. And like when I finally like landed at the bottom of this place, I saw like in neon lights it said Doop's closet. And it looked like a closet of like old stuff and toys and like games and like arcades, and it was all like dark blue in there and like purple and like neon pink. And I was like, what is this place? And I remember seeing like a crowd of people and a stage, and I saw Magnus, and he had a top hat on. And he was talking to everybody. He's like, step right up, folks. This is Doop's closet. I'm going to show you some of the most crazy art from all sides of the metaverse. And he was showing like my artwork, but in like 3D, like rendered live versions of my pictures and like my artwork. And everybody was like, whoa. And he's like, yes, this is from you know, Jarrell Seeker's teenage years. And they would like show like these grotesque monsters. And he's like, yeah, he used to make all types of monsters before he decided to make the multiverse. And I was just like, what? And so I'm in the crowd of like my own thing on the multiverse, and it was just the most insane mashup of stuff I've ever seen. I saw like at one point, like he was like, okay, monsters off the stage. And I saw he had this big book, and he opened up the book, and then like all my anime ladies popped out. Because if you guys didn't know, Duke's Closet, I used to draw a lot of scandalous anime ladies. Duke's Closet was not always kid friendly. But I, you know, and I probably never will be. I'm not really for kids. I'm for 18 plus. And that's okay. But yeah, so like he opens up this book, and so like all these like beautiful like pinup anime chicks like come out, and they're like all half dressed, and they're all like laughing and stuff, and all the crowd is like, whoa, and they're like, they're so pretty, and they're like, yeah, we're all made by this guy. And I was just like, dude, this is insane. And then he's like, now I will show you the one of his greatest inventions. And then he like whips out another notebook, and he opened it up, and in that notebook there was like, it was the plan for the multiverse. Like like a tree came out, and like I saw all the connections and all the like this like lights. And then he's like, and I present to you Jarrell Seeker. And from like I was in the crowd, and then somehow I got poofed from in the crowd onto stage, and I was like behind the tree, and I was looking at the whole crowd, and they were all like, whoa, yeah. And I was like, I'm here. Like I did it. Like I was like, yo. And it was like it was beautiful. Like I couldn't believe what I was seeing, because I've seen QHHT sessions before, and it doesn't look anything like that. It was just so, but you know what? As I progressed with my story and all the things that I've lived, like now I know that, yeah, it's out there somewhere. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Natasha, for giving me that experience. Yo, she gave it to me for freezing, for getting her on the for getting her on the show. So like, thank you so much for everything, Natasha. You really made like my dreams come true. So like, thank you. You're the fuel for sure, and I really appreciate you.
Yeah, man, that's incredible. It's quite the interesting journey. Like, okay, you connect to your inner child and you got superpowers, so and you're blue. So immediately it's like, hey, you're an Octorian starseed, by the way. You might be an Anunnaki Octorian hybrid. Just so you know, your inner child is blue. You're an alien. And then
Yeah.
and then you just got a room in your subconscious mind filled with all your ex-girlfriends, which is nice.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
kind of nice.
Magnus introduces you to Doop's closet, bro. I didn't know that. You never told that to me, and
My
I'm
bad.
I'm so glad. I'm glad you're sharing it now on this
Yeah.
channel because that's amazing, bro. That's incredible. He gave you that. Like it's like a really strong act of co-creation.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I like these stories come out like so authentically when it's like in the time that it's supposed to be told. You know what I mean? And I feel like if I would have told you that story any earlier, it wouldn't have been the same as if it would have been now. If that makes any sense. It's not that I was choosing it, but like I feel like because of this picture, because of that feeling of Natasha and like getting it perfect. Yeah. Anyway, dude, thank you for listening.
Pleasure.
Honestly, I think like I need to meet Natasha. She sounds amazing. If I had to like go through what you went through with the whole seeing my child and my exes and then the whole, I don't know what my version of your Dupe's closet would be, but if I saw my younger self, I'd face her cock, which basically means I'd tell her shit, like not to do dumb cock, dumb shit. And if I had to be in a room with all of my exes, I'd be like, mistake. But I honestly think that your story is so amazing. And how I saw it, because I'm a big child, like I love watching kids shows. Do you remember Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah. I watched that recently, actually.
Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet. When you first started talking about the whole diving through the internet, it honestly reminded me of that. And then when you were talking about Magnus, it reminded me a lot of Bull Cipher from Gravity Falls.
Yeah. Yo, well, that looks a lot like Chronos too. Yeah. Now that I think about it.
And if I'm being completely honest, I honestly, like when we started, I felt like I'd met you before. And then I remembered a couple years ago when I was like really, really into Gravity Falls and stuff, I created a, what do you call it? My own like character of Gravity Falls, which basically had a backstory. And he looked very shockingly similar to you. Except he obviously had like the six fingers like Grunkle Stan's brother did.
Yeah.
He looked honestly so much like you, and he was meant to be like the older brother of Dipper and Mabel. But I felt like I knew you so well when we first started the podcast.
Yeah.
I just thought I would share that because it was like for a second I was just like, oh shit, where, like I know you from somewhere, I just need to figure out where. And then when we were talking more about Magnus, I was like, Bull Cipher, Gravity Falls, there we go.
Yo, my hairs are standing up so hard. So like, dude, you created me somewhere else. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to meet you in person. Well, like semi-person. Through the multiverse, we are reaching. Like, yes, this is amazing. Well, nice to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you were making that character? Like how, like tell me about it. Like, because now, like this is a whole nother level of co-creation. In a sense, you're meeting your own creation. So how is that?
It's a little bit of like deja vu almost because I would have dreams about like this character and everything. But it's like sort of a whole puzzle like coming together and sort of forming, you know. And when I was creating your character in a sense, I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. But like I had a vision, and I know that like some part of me was like some part of you was reaching out, and I think everything sort of like linked up together, and that's why I met Tyron, and then now I'm meeting like my creation in a sense.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly, I don't even know how to explain it. It's kind of like the best way I can explain it is like you have sort of that like galactic feeling almost, like you're somehow like we're all somehow connected to the universe in some way, and all of us subconsciously are connected.
Yeah. That's so I'll explain one of Magnus's like latest forms is actually
It's not a
this is when the Starseed Collective comes together. There's a mind body spirit complex, like a giant thing, a consciousness, a mass consciousness called Rel, and it looks like a giant octopus with interdimensional arms, and it reaches through the fabric of space-time, and it links worlds together. So like in a way, like that's how I can connect things between like shows and stuff, because I have the ability to move through media that way. Like this is me kind of coming out. I don't really tell people about that power because it's weird, but I do that. and every time that someone is added to the Starseed Collective, it's another arm and another branch like that gets connected to that, and that's how we link. And so like your world and what you're creating like creates me in my world, and then I help create the things in your world, and vice versa. That is what the Starseed Collective is about, and that's why like I tell to the audience that like this whole project is that's what this is about. Like we're trying to co-create for each other, and we're going to make beautiful creations. And so to have someone say that they've created me before doesn't surprise me at all. That tells me that it's working. Like that's what it tells me. It's an honor. It's an honor to be created by you. Thank you so much. Like that's awesome.
Honestly, amazing.
Yeah, dude, it's honestly great, man. And hey, if anybody's interested, check out Quantum Musings. That's Natasha's channel.
Quantum Music. Thank you so much for telling that out. Yeah, because I definitely didn't know it off the top of my head. Yeah, Quantum Musings, guys. You heard it here first.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. All right. Let me see. I might. Okay, so this picture is an episode picture, but it's actually way further in the timeline than a lot of people. No one has seen this. This is not even out yet. It's not supposed to be out yet, but this is a sneak peek. I won't tell you what it is, but you can speculate if you want.
Okay. Tell you what. I'm gonna give like my hypothesis as to what this image is, and then we can wrap up. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, because this is so far in the future, it's not even funny. Well, it is. It's not that far, actually, but it is.
Okay. So I see like a giant portal opening. Okay, and I see a whole bunch of like little eye guys and like spirit guys coming together. I see you and Nikki, and you're in your time suit, your like multiverse avatar superpower suit. And it's obvious that you guys are, oh my god, look at that. I see some souls or some beings. Okay. So I may be on the money here, but we'll see. So basically, I'm seeing like a reality or plane where like their world like didn't work out, and it's like bad. And you and Nikki are opening this portal, and you pulling through these people into a new reality, into a new timeline. and you got all these guys helping you out, and it's honestly quite beautiful. That's my guess, though.
So, yes. When I'll tell you guys what was happening when because like the thing is, like, I know that when it pops up in the notebooks, it's gonna have a different meaning. Because I haven't gotten to put it out yet. But I can tell you guys what was going on with me when I made this picture and like what I did with it. Yes, that is literally the old like chaotic energies of the past, and I was trying to form a soul bridge to a new creation. This is a seed, a world seed, and this world seed, there was nothing in it. Like it was like a blank. It's like a blank area of nothingness. I had control, so there's the Saturn, and then I had a some other type of planet. It was but they're literally just ways to influence the seed. There was a bunch of light forces, and those are portals. Those are like lunar portals that people use to transverse, I guess, this space. It's like a spiritual space, like a hyper dimension. That's a good way to put it. It's like a hyper dimension. And pretty much we knew that there was going to be like a crease, like a hole in the fabric of dimensionality during a certain time, that if we had enough people to work together, we would be able to like open up a portal and pretty much, I don't know, like almost like turn the hourglass upside down. So like if it was like that, like boom, and then like all the people that resonate with this new frequency will be attracted to it. And but the thing is, like, it appears to everybody in a different way, because the way that like reality is perceived, like everyone has their own different perceptions for literally everything. So like the way that you see is the way that you see, and you have to accept it. And you know what I mean? You have to realize that that's just the way that you communicate with yourself. So yeah, that is Polaris Magnus, who is somebody you guys have not heard of yet, but he's there, and he's current. That's the current me, and that's Nova Nikki over there crushing it. And these are a lot of our co-creators, the colors, and yeah, this is us opening up that portal every time. This is my second episode of Doop's Closet. I did this so long ago. And every time I did meetings with people, I would put their cast, like I would put the like everything they were saying into that world. And I asked everybody what they wished for. Every time we did Doop's Closet, I'd always ask them what they wanted for humanity. And I asked them what they wanted for themselves. And dude, I shit you not, every time I ask people that, they always wish for something beautiful. And they always want world peace or something. I'm like, thank you. But after one person wishes it, that means that no one else has to wish that anymore. So then you can have more fun things. And yeah, like you guys, like the Starseed Collective is a collective of genius level souls with beautiful dreams that I want to see come true. And that this is the beginning of it. This was us seeding this timeline. And as I continue to go through these episodes and through these artworks, you guys are going to see how much the active audience, has helped me create a new experience, a new way of being. And whether we see it with our physical eyes or not, immediately, but we're going to see some crazy shit. I think that this is the beginning of a really good show. And yeah, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for having us, man.
Thank you.
We're gonna be in the next episode, and it's gonna get even better. I'm so
excited. Yeah, we're gonna start the actual story.